After 2 additional test races, one of them without proper video footage due to a dank tornado hitting our studio during the recording session, the 4th test round of the Samsung SuperSpeedway Series was held at the equally fitting venue of Talladega, a superspeedway type track itself. The grid, this time comprised of 22 cars, was led by BK Glover in the number 9 Dodge, with the number 48 Chevrolet of Tired Iron and the number 88 Ford of Harsk 100 rounding up the first 3 places on the grid. 3 out of the 4 manufacturers competing were on the podium at the start, a clear proof of how competitive racing had been since the start of the test races. The first lap was an active one, with several drivers immediately vying for positions after the green flag, something that only superspeedways can provide due to their high top speeds, and Talladega was no different. And he managed to gain several positions while moving through the field at the start, especially the number 20 Home Depot Chevrolet of Race Car and the number 17 DeWalt Ford of Formidable, who had begun the race in 5th and 8th position respectively and had now captured 1st and 2nd place after a strong start. The former top 3 starting drivers were all overwhelmed by the sudden charge from their rivals and lost their shot at victory almost immediately as a result. Lap 2 saw yet another lead change, this time featuring the infamous Team Kate Upton driver Yagi and his Pepsi-sponsored Chevrolet, with G. Parilla and Swift Smith following suit by taking the 2nd and 3rd places for themselves. They were not alone, as Niku Driver HC, Michelin Racing's number 75 Ford, and Mike 458 in Steph Sanjati Racing's number 10 Dodge caught the leading group at the back straightaway and tried to snatch the lead away from Yagi. In fact, Niku would eventually capture 1st place at turn 4, leading the pack onwards to lap 3. Riley Morton, making a stellar performance in the number 95 Chevrolet, jumped up to 2nd place, gaining 13 positions in the process. However, the race couldn't remain calm for long. At lap 8, right after crossing the start-finish line, the Cybertron's engine exploded and sent the number 32 tied Pontiac straight into the outside wall. The engine failure itself had written the car off, but 4 more cars would still make contact with the out-of-control Pontiac, nearly causing it to roll over. Through the hood camera of several drivers, we can see Cybertron's wild ride in more detail. It all started with the number 77 car of G. Parilla hitting the Pontiac, clipping it in the rear and hitting the wall at the same time, but without any race-ending damage for the Argentinian. But Parilla's touch was the ultimate stain in the Cybertron's race, because then his stricken car swerved right across the path of Tired Iron, who couldn't avoid the tight Pontiac in time and slammed its side with great force. To make matters worse for Iron, his own car hit the outside wall at the entry for turn 1 and 2 and damaged it beyond repair, but not before causing Doodle, in the number 5 Kellogg's Chevrolet, to hit the number 48 in the rear, something which in turn ended Doodle's race immediately and added yet another victim to the count. Red Dragon got caught in the crash's domino effect, hitting Doodle's car and forcing her own retirement from the race in the process. The crash had done very little in terms of action, as the rest of the field was still engaged in a hard-fought battle. No less than 30 lead changes had occurred during the race itself, and 15 different drivers had led the race at some point. Niku Driver HC was running away with 1st place at the end of lap 37. He lost too much speed at turns 1 and 2, giving the lead to Formidable in the number 17. But almost immediately afterwards, it was DCR Raikkonen who found himself in 1st place, thanks to an untimely mistake by Formidable, who had run wide at the end of turn 2. Raikkonen took the number 84 CarQuest Chevrolet all the way to the finish line in 1st place, his first ever victory in the testing session so far. Riley Morton kept off an incredible 420 performance by finishing in 2nd place, with Audi Man 2011 completing an all-Chevrolet podium in 3rd place.